Hello, and welcome to the Excel update. It's great to see everybody in Illinois, and let's get started. So, I want to let everybody know before we get started that along with the JO committee, the Excel committee has decided not to make very many changes this year. So, most of this PowerPoint are minor changes and clarifications. To introduce our Excel National Committee. Region 1, we have Jill Preston. Region 2 is Diane Palmer. Region 3 is Louis Janecki. And Region 4 is Megan Bankhole. Region 5 is our fearless leader, Nancy Gibson. And Region 6, we have Gail Kasperi. Region 7, Jane Caruso. Region 8 is Elaine Wolf. And I, Claudia Kretschmer, am your Excel National Chair. Our technical liaison from the Tech Committee is Marion Dykes. Tell everybody about our Excel Only Judges course. We're really excited about this course, and it's been in the works for over a year now. We have an ad hoc committee that was formed from the Excel committee and the technical committee to create this course. And this is to encourage new judges to come into judging, into the world of judging. It is to bring coaches and athletes and parents into judging, to retain judges that maybe have retired and would like to just judge at the Excel level. So this course should be ready by January of 2021. We'll be happy for that year. And we have had a few hiccups at the office, people being sick and some other things going on and other priorities. So they are now on it. The course is finished from our end, and it is getting the final touches of the technical part at USAG office. So keep an eye out for that. We'll be sending out information as soon as that's ready to roll. Don't forget that Women's Technical Committee has an online quiz for the Excel program. And this is just a short little quiz as kind of little reminders. So if you're going into a meet, you haven't judged Excel for a while, this is a good little quiz to take, a little self-quiz. It's also great for coaches as well to take it. So rules and policies, changes, and clarity. Every year at our Excel meeting, at our national meeting, we always go over our Excel program philosophy. And this is what drives our program. We make all of our decisions based on the philosophy of the program. So when we are maybe not agreeing or there's some controversy, we always go back to, does this fit into the philosophy of the program? And this is what drives our decision making. So I want to go over that philosophy with you. The Excel program was developed as an alternative competitive program offering individual flexibility to coaches and gymnasts. The goal of the Excel program is to provide gymnasts of varying abilities and commitment levels the opportunity for a rewarding gymnastics experience. And this program has really filled a lot of needs in the gymnastics community. It has been used in many ways, and sometimes we hear these are not the true Excels, or people are putting in Excel programs to be used for other purposes. I call it the beauty and the beast of the program. The beauty of the program is that we have allowed for so much flexibility, and the beast of the program is that it has so much flexibility. So it is being used in a variety of ways, and we have had many states that are now because the numbers are so big, they're now using creating some different guidelines and rules. I know that in Region 4, they have the state meet is divided by number of hours that they're training. Others are dividing by scores. So we ran into this a lot in level 5, and we created a gold silver state meet. And we've had many different forms of state meets because we had so many kids at that level. So it is evolving, but we do hold true to this philosophy. The purpose of the Excel program is to have retention, have an entry level of competition, to have individualized routines and creativity, and for those athletes that have alternative goals. And many of these athletes, some are going into high school and want to do other things. Some are coming into the Excel program because they may have a fear or a weakness on one event. And some are using it as a stepping stone to get into the optional program for JO. So let's talk about some rules and policies. The backless leotard rule was supposed to go into effect this past August of 2020. And due to all of the situation at hand with the pandemic and COVID, the technical committee decided to hold off for a year on this so that parents and coaches alike, we don't have to pay for another $350 leotard to meet the new guidelines. So they allowed for some flexibility, which is great. So I want to talk a little bit of the Excel rules of the backless leotard. And reminder, this does not go into effect until next season. So a leotard is considered backless when the open area visually extends no more than approximately 2 inches below the bottom of the scapula, which is the shoulder blade. This was reworded. It's a little more wordy than it was before, but they really wanted to use more body parts rather than saying extends past the bra line when some children don't wear bras yet. So the open area extends past the vertical midpoint of the scapula unless the open area is filled with mesh or a flesh-covered fabric. I like pictures better than all this wordy stuff. So the backless leotard, if you see here on the left, this leotard would not be compliant. If you look, it goes past the shoulder blade. This is the midpoint of the shoulder blade, and it goes past that. And then this is where you would normally have the bra line. It's going below that. If you look at the leotard on the right, this leotard is the same design, a little smaller hole, but the hole does not go past any of these midpoints. So that leotard would be compliant. For example, of a non-compliant and compliant leotard. You can see this is a pretty broad back. It goes past the bra line. It goes past the scapula, the midpoint of the scapula. And the one on the right is compliant. Okay, this leotard is interesting because the top of it is just fine, but the bottom of it, you can see goes like just above the waistline. It's going below the bra strap, and those are holes in the back of the leotard. So that would not be compliant, but however, if that was filled in with mesh or skin colored leotard, that would be compliant. All right, so this is just to remove from the rules and policies. Before it was a rule that level 10s, if moving over to the Excel program, had to petition to get into the Diamond Division. The level 10s no longer are required to petition into the Diamond Division. I'd like to go over the petitioning process and the entry level. So if a JO athlete wishes to enter the Xcel program at a division that's below the allowable division, a reason for change letter is still required. This is not new. And I do want to urge state committees to be more flexible this year um, due to the pandemic and things that are going on to allow athletes to move back a division if they so choose. The bronze division, JO levels 1 and 2 may enter in that division. If you notice, the levels 1 and 2 may enter in bronze or silver, and level 3 may enter in silver or gold. A level 4 may only enter in gold. Level 5s and 6s may only enter at the platinum division, and there was a change last season. Level 7s are now able to enter in the platinum division as well as diamond, and 8, 9s, and 10s may enter in the diamond division. So this is a change this season. For all divisions, a one-judge panel is allowed for mobility purposes. So if you're hosting a meet in the beginning of the season and you're using that for mobility purposes, you may have a one-judge panel. Now, if you are where it gets a little tricky is you have to go by your state guidelines for qualification purposes. So if you're using this meet for a qualifying meet for a state meet and your state requires a two-judge panel, then that would trump the one-judge panel. Okay, but if you're just having a mobility meet, you may use a one-judge panel. And any deviation to the existing rules and policies must be approved by your regional or national Xcel chair. Okay. A level 7-8 rating is required for the platinum and diamond divisions, and I believe before it said recommended, but that is updated to a requirement. All right, so I want to go over the maximum number of competitors that are allowed in a traditional format of competition. So the diamond and platinum divisions for any traditional format has been bumped to 64 athletes that are allowed. Now I want to go over what these formats are. A traditional format is one set of equipment, and you would warm up all events and then compete all events. A modified traditional format, number 1, is a one set of equipment, but you warm up on that event and then you compete that event. And modified traditional format number 2 is exactly the same, but they have 2 balance beams. So you would warm up on one and compete on the other. All right, this is an update, and this is in the JO updates as well. The maximum thickness of the floor surface updated from 7 inches to 7.5 inches. I really don't know if anybody that's actually gone out and measured the floor, but the equipment companies have come to the JO committee and said, it says in rules and policies that you can only have up to 7 inches. However, some of the matting has been varied, and some of the thicknesses are now up to 7.5 inches. So that has been changed in the rules. All right, so let's go on to our Xcel Code of Points clarifications. All right, so there is an addition to the code saying that there will be no deduction for having a tape line or chalk marks placed on the bronze or silver mat stack. So in some meets, people have been putting markings on the mats, and judges really didn't know what to do with it. They're marking for the safety of the athlete, and because of that reason, deduction there. So here you see a coach making the line on the mat stack, and this is just for a visual cue for the athlete. This is a change. Under rotation of salto vaults, the deduction is a flat 1/10 deduction for the diamond division. So let's go over so you can take a look. So this is a slight under rotation. She has to run forward out. And we're just showing varying degrees of under rotation, and landed with the chest a little bit forward. Obviously, she's pretty disappointed in that. Okay, here we go. She has a Yurchenko tuck, and she falls to hands and feet. And she kind of lands on all fours. So no matter what the degree of under rotation, it's still a flat 1/10 deduction. There are other deductions that you can take to for the rest of the vault. Okay, this is also an addition. For the bronze vault number 2 or silver vault, there's no deduction if the coach, in an attempt to assist or spot the gymnast, leans against the mat or bears weight on the mat stacks. Okay, so in this one, the coach is spotting the back half. She leans in to be able to spot the athlete. You're still taking the spotting deduction, but you're not taking an additional deduction for the coach leaning against the mat. Here's another example. This time the coach is on the mat stack. And we just had a discussion about this the other day. And the judges did not know what to do with it, with the coach being on top of the mat stack. So remember, coaches come in all sizes, and it's for the benefit of the athlete, for a smaller coach to be able to climb up on that mat and be able to reach her athlete. All right, so this is a clarification. If an element is performed that cannot be found in the Xcel code of points, the judge may award a comparable value part credit if they can recognize the root element. So many times throughout the season, we get this a lot on our committee, and many of the regional Xcel chairs get messages all the time about a skill that they saw and they did not know what to do with it. So hopefully it's recognizable, this skill. Examples here. So here we have, this gymnast does a jam kip on the high bar. I haven't seen too many of these. I'll admit I haven't seen any, but it did come to us. So this is not a skill in the code of points. However, a single leg jam kip is a mount, so that's an A value part. That would be the root skill, and you would give that an A value part. All right, let's look at this. And she does an underswing kip. Now, an underswing kip is not in the code, but the root skill is a kip, so you would give that an A value part. right, long hang kip, cast into another long hang kip. So that push away long hang kip or a push away kip is again not in the list of skills. So the root skill is a long hang kip, and you would award that an A value part. All right, so we have an example on floor. She does sort of a dive cartwheel with a half turn out of it. Again, the root skill is a cartwheel, so you would give that an A. And here we have, she starts as a back walkover and twists and goes into a creative movement. We want to encourage creativity in the Xcel program, so we love that they're making up skills like this. And as long as you can find the root skill for it, you can go ahead and award a value part. So this is an interesting skill. She does a half of a tick-tock and rolls down to her back. So a tick-tock is an A, so we give that an A value part. Where it could be confusing is a front walkover is a B, but she doesn't complete a front walkover skill. So we would give that an A value part as the root skill. Okay, here is another variation on the theme. So she does a tick-tock, comes down, and does a backward roll. Is she trying to get a series out of that? Maybe potentially that could be. I'm going to play it for you again. I would not give that because she moves her feet and makes an adjustment. So see, she moved her feet there. So because there's too much movement of the feet, we would not give that. And here's another variation on that theme, just a little bit different. She rolls down and she does a counter and rolls back. So those would get 2 A value parts, but they would not count as a series. All right, this is the same as the JO program. Concentration pauses 2 seconds or more, and it used to say prior to elements or connections. Now, if you have a 2-second or more concentration pause in any time, in any point of your routine, that would receive a 2-tenth deduction. It does not necessarily have to be before major elements or connections. All right, so we are deleting this from the rules and policies. Under inquiries, number D, delete only allowed at the state meet and above. So in other words, inquiries are allowed at all sanctioned competitions. Before they were only allowed at the state meet and above. And this is when really the program just started. So that has been a change. Okay. At all sanctioned Xcel competitions for all divisions, a coach may request a video review. And this is the same as the JO program. The Xcel committee just adopted that rule. So the current video review guidelines still apply, and I do want to emphasize that. So a video review is only to be used if you're missing a special requirement and that your athlete did her full turn and both judges missed it. Something on those lines. It may not be used to determine angle of your cast or degree of split of a leap, those are not um, allowable reasons to request a video review. Okay, so I thought this was kind of funny, but we did have some people say that some judges in some parts of the country are taking deductions for verbal cues when they actually didn't hear them. They just thought the coaches were saying it. The judges actually have to hear the words in order to take that 2/10 deduction. So let's give you a couple. Is this a verbal cue or a physical cue? So she forgot her routine, and then the coach shows her what to do. So this would be a physical cue, and this is allowed. The coach is not talking. She's showing her what to do on the sideline, and that is okay. That is allowed. And sometimes on beam, I'll have to be honest, it's encouraged for those little ones that are forgetting their routines and standing up there for another 2 minutes trying to remember. So coaches, go ahead and give them those physical cues, just don't say it. So here is another example. So watch the coach closely. So she forgets, and the coach like literally yells out to her, "Do your split leap." So that is a verbal cue, and that would be a 2/10 deduction. But again, the judge would have to hear her say this. Okay. For all divisions, a mount trainer or mount mat may be placed on an 8-inch skill cushion. A springboard may not be placed on an 8-inch skill cushion. So I can't tell you how many meets that I go to. They're constantly asking the judges, am I allowed to put the board here? Am I allowed to put the board on this mat? Can I use this board on top of that? So I know that this question is asked a lot, and I want to get some clarity in this. So a mount trainer or a mount mat or a folded panel mat or a padded spotting skill block may be placed on top of competition landing mats and skill cushions for the purposes of mounting. So let's look at a few examples. So you may mount with a mount trainer on top of an 8-incher. Here we have a combination of a 4-inch mat, a sting mat, and a springboard. And this is called Build a Mountain, and you may do that. That is perfectly fine. Okay, so here we have a 8-inch mat, a 4-inch, a sting mat, and a vault board or a mounting board. And this this is okay, all right, because it is not on top of the 8-incher. Again, the springboard may not be put on top of the 8-incher, but it can be put on top of all of these stacked mats. And she is, okay. Here we have a springboard on top of the 8-incher, and this is not allowed. So this is it, mounting off of this. The Xcel update. So if you have any questions, please reach out either to myself or your Xcel regional chair, Nancy Gibson, and good luck this season and stay strong.